Gas hit $4.39 a gallon on May 1st. The U.S. Energy Information Administration now projects it will average over $3.70 for all of 2026. And here is the part most people are not ready to hear. Gas prices are not going back to where they were. This is the new baseline. If your budget was built around $3 gas, it is already broken. This video is going to show you how to fix it. Let us start with the real reason. Gas prices are where they are, and why the situation is not resolving quickly. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched military operations against Iran. Within weeks, the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway connecting the Persian Gulf to the global oil market, was effectively disrupted. The Strait of Hormuz handles approximately 20 million barrels of oil per day. That is roughly 20% of the world's entire oil supply moving through one choke point. When that flow is disrupted, crude oil prices go up. And when crude oil prices go up, your gas price follows within weeks. Since February 27th, the day before the conflict began, the national average has risen 47%. Crude oil crossed $100 per barrel and has stayed there. The EIA forecasts diesel will average $4.80 for all of 2026. The Energy Secretary has stated publicly that prices may not drop below $3 per gallon until next year. There is no quick fix. The conflict has no clear resolution timeline. The Strait has no viable workaround for that volume of oil. This is not a temporary spike that is about to correct. It is a structural repricing of fuel costs for the foreseeable future. Here is the number most people have not calculated for themselves. The average American driver fills a 15-gallon tank approximately once a week. At $4.39, that is $65.85 per fill-up. At the pre-war price of roughly $2.99 per gallon, that same fill-up cost $44.85. The difference is $21 per fill-up. Over a month, that is $84 extra in fuel costs. Over a year, at current prices holding steady, that is over $1,000 redirected from your budget to the pump. $1,000. That is roughly 4 months of minimum payments on the average credit card balance. It is more than 2 months of a typical car payment. It is gone. Not to something you chose, not to something that built your future, but to fuel costs driven by a conflict 7,000 miles away. And here is the trap that makes it worse. 30% of Americans are now putting fuel on a credit card they cannot pay in full at the end of the month. At a 21% APR, charging $4.40 worth of gas effectively costs you over $5.30 per gallon once the interest compounds. The pump price was already painful. The credit card makes it worse. Here is the most actionable thing I can tell you today. Most household budgets have a fuel line. Most of them were set based on what gas cost when the budget was last updated, which for most people was sometime in 2024 or early 2025 when prices were meaningfully lower. If your fuel budget says $150 a month and you're actually spending $230 a month, you have an $80 monthly gap that your budget does not account for. That $80 has to come from somewhere, and where it usually comes from is debt. The credit card balance creeps up, the minimum payment grows, and you're never quite sure where the money went because your budget said you were fine. The fix is not complicated. Open your last 4 bank or credit card statements. Find every gas station charge. Add them up and divide by 4. That is your real monthly fuel cost in May 2026. Update your fuel line in your budget to that number today. Then identify what category has to shrink to compensate. Dining out, entertainment, discretionary spending. Something has to give, and you need to choose what it is before the credit card chooses for you. Here are 5 specific moves that reduce what you spend on fuel without requiring you to completely change your life. Move 1. Use a gas cashback app every single time you fill up. Apps like Upside offer 2 to 25 cents per gallon back on fuel purchases at participating stations. At current prices, that can recover $5 to $15 per month with zero change to your driving habits. Move 2. Switch to the cheapest gas grade your vehicle actually needs. Most cars are built for regular 87 octane. If you are putting premium in a car that does not require it, you are paying 30 to 40 cents more per gallon for no benefit. Check your owner's manual today. Move 3. Fill up on Mondays or Tuesdays. Gas prices typically rise heading into the weekend as demand increases. AAA data consistently shows Monday and Tuesday as the lowest price days of the week at most stations. Move 4. Combine errands into single trips. Every cold start of your engine burns more fuel than a warmed-up engine. Planning your errands as one efficient loop instead of multiple separate trips can reduce fuel consumption by 10 to 15% without changing where you go. Move 5. Build a dedicated gas buffer in your budget. Set aside a fixed amount each month, let us say $250, specifically for fuel. When it is gone until next month. This forces you to optimize your driving rather than letting fuel costs float freely and quietly drain other categories. Here's why all of this matters beyond just the pump price. Every dollar you recover from fuel costs through smarter habits and budget discipline is a dollar that goes onto your highest interest debt instead of into a gas tank. At 21% APR, $100 of extra debt payment saves you $21 in annual interest permanently. Do that every month, and the compound FD